Hello everyone and welcome to the semifinal round of the 2018 MP40 division at the Pro Masters World Championships presented by Dynamic Discs. We're here with your lead card in Dave Feldberg, who's got a two-stroke advantage over second place contender Brian Schweberger, and we're here on hole number 1, 508 feet. We saw Dave struggle on this hole during the previous round. They played out here on Friday, and now we're out here bright AM, 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. And Schwebby attempts the roller just like we saw on Friday, and just about as ineffective, unfortunately, for Schwebby. You really need to get up and over this hill.
Get off of that. Go, go.
Oh, wow.
Get in the basket.
Oh, wow. Come on. And just going past the basket on this 508-footer. Holy cow, what a shot there by Mccrae.
Filter. Just keep going. There you go.
Oh, wow, and there's a little world champ love if I've ever seen it. As that continued on, that's going to work all right for Schultz. Now Schwebby down in that valley. This is a tough approach because you can either barely see it or not see the basket whatsoever. We saw a thumber approach to 15 feet from him the day before. And Feldberg looked a little bit tentative. It's really easy to have it get up and lift and go past the basket. Barry even calls out his own name on that one, as he thought he misfired slightly. And that's Mccrae, who was that far past the basket off his drive. He's going to have an easy layup, and Schwebby, no semifinal nerves here, getting started. Solid uphill putt. Huh. I think he just found himself a penny.
No, please don't do that.
And Feldberg, for the second consecutive day, starts out the round with a bogey. Previous day, he had a roll away. Today, he doesn't convert on the putt. Schultz making easy work of it. Looks like Mccrae is going to do the same. So, just like that, Feldberg's two-stroke advantage is now down to one stroke above Schwebby, and just a couple of strokes over the rest of the card. He's got 2 on Mccrae and 3 on Schultz as we move into hole number 2. Good turnover play there by Schwebby. However, it looks like it carried too far to the right before hooking up. Schwebby was telling the rest of the group that the second they get to the end of the tee pad, they're going to be blinded. He walked out there and was taking a look, and as you can see, it goes from shaded to just blinding sun here in this early morning, as Schultz doesn't get over enough on that one. So now we've seen 2 to the left, 1 to the right. We'll see if Dave can correct. And that's got a great looking angle, and Feldberg looking to negate the stroke on the previous hole he gave away. And that's something to be really careful about. You saw that come in. This has a lot of hillsides, of course. We saw that during the previous round. But angle in which it hits the ground, and Schwebby just said at least it didn't roll. And for as close as Mccrae was, he didn't really have a good angle at that one. But knowing how your disc is coming down, not only on the drives, but also the putts, is so crucial out here. Because just about every shot, I feel like, can get up on edge and roll away from you. And Barry's going to open the round with back-to-back pars. Mccrae does the same. This is the exact same group you saw during the 4th round of competition. They're trying to pull away from the rest of the group, or the division, I should say. And just like that, Feldberg's back to his two-stroke advantage. We're going to head over to hole 3. 276 feet, but it plays much shorter. I think we actually see 4 putter shots off the tee here. Feldberg on that left side, and
Now you're not going to turn.
Schwebe said that his putter's not going to turn. Apparently it had before.
Lots of rocks.
All right, Mccrae asking for it to slow down. He's deep of the pin. Barry going with an AVR putter. And if that's not silky smooth, I don't know what is. What a perfect shot by Barry Schultz. I think his beautiful form also maybe indicates why he's got a few hundred wins.
No, come on, I laid up. Please curl. Curl. Ah, dang, man. What is it with these holes?
Well, Dave, I'm not a physics major, but I'm going to tell you, they're on hillsides. And as Mccrae puts in for the birdie, you have to be conscious of your angles. Maybe you didn't hear my commentary on the previous hole, Dave, but in all seriousness, you have to account. And when you hit metal like that and it gets up on edge, there's a really good chance it's going to roll to somewhere. And I think that can happen on just about every hole on this course. Schwebe's in for the par. Schultz is in for the birdie. So we see a pair of birdies by Schultz and Mccrae. We're going to move over to hole number 4. And what a beautiful shot there. Just right up the middle, all the way down the tunnel. Schultz looking to follow suit. Just brushes off the little brush there. Gosh, I guess I should have said he brushed it. A little late on my pun game here. Feldberg for the second day in a row going with the backhand roller. And this one not nearly as effective. That doesn't come out from what would be his left side. Schwebe, first overhand of the day. Sit down. And it does. He's looking inside the circle. I'm hearing a cell phone of sorts, but I have no idea where it's coming from. Just like Schultz was looking for where that noise was. There's a lot of active squirrels and acorns and other nuts that I think are flying from all over on this course. Schwebe takes the birdie. Mccrae, also a birdie. He's excited. I like it. So we're going to see a pair of pars. Assuming Schultz here converts. It's a gorgeous morning. The sun isn't fully blasting on everyone. It hasn't gotten up above everyone just yet. But it's a beautiful day out at Waterworks. The temperatures aren't quite blistering yet. We've seen some pretty hot temps throughout the last few days. And he would have loved a little more flair on the skip shot there, but that's still in pretty good position for Mccrae. And as Schwebe says, he released that one a little bit high.
Air bounced the heck out of that one.
I guess specifically an air bounce, and I concur. Oh, and Schultz not quite wide enough. We saw him throw a perfect shot the day before. Feldberg a little stagnant the last few holes. And just hits the gap and gets the exact skip that Mccrae was looking for. Schwebe's got some work to do. He's going to keep this one low. And not quite enough power. That's going to leave him a tester. And Barry ultimately splits right through the uprights here. Let's focus and concentration at its fullest. And there's a steep drop-off right behind that basket, so I'm surprised to see anyone be at all aggressive on a long putt there, because you can have a tough comebacker.
Yeah, man.
Heck yeah!
Great too, though.
That one just drifting into the left side for Feldberg. That is a huge bonus birdie. Feldberg, a little fist pump with Schwebe. Schwebe always one of the loudest to congratulate everyone else on the card. Just an all-around amazing sportsman. See him just barely miss that. Not much of a reaction, and Schultz cleans up for the par. I think we're looking at over a combined 800 wins on this card. Just ridiculous. JohnE McCray making the joke about possibly tapping in. He said that he really tricked Cale Laviska a couple of weeks ago by faking the tap in. But again, Feldberg has his two-stroke advantage. And we saw him with a really good kick out on this hole yesterday. Today, he keeps it clean and gets the roll toward the pin. You couldn't ask for much more. Not only does it go right up the fairway, but then it gets the right skip, flare, and roll. Mccrae's going to have more work to do. And that's exactly what you're looking for. I mean, assuming you don't get the great skip and roll that Feldberg did, you're just looking to put it straight up the center of the fairway and then deal with the somewhat challenging approach from there, because this one is very uneven near the green. And that's a pretty darn good shot there by Schwebe. Mccrae with the right angle, but he could have used about 20 feet more power. Or maybe actually about 3 feet more of power, but just get over the ledge a little bit more, because it would have fallen all the way. And Feldberg, there it is. There's the play. That's a veteran move. Flips the disc upside down to try to reduce the possible roll away. And Mccrae still carding the long birdie. And he's still skipping to the basket. Barry improves by a stroke on the previous day where he missed a 18-foot comebacker for the birdie. He was the only one to not birdie on yesterday's round. But right now, just like the star in the fairway, we see a star frame. These guys making hole 6 much easier than it really plays. No shifting or moving, but JohnE McCrae's got the hot round thus far, 3 under through the first 6. Oh. As that disc came rolling in, it was actually
Like
Dave Greenwell. He's out here vying for a title in the MP60 division.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what a beautiful shot. And more importantly, it sits down for him. He says there was a branch there.
Yeah, it's just a courtesy thing.
And for back-to-back rounds, I see Schultz take this right side gap. And for back-to-back rounds, very effective. So rather than dealing with a disc that might stable up like we're seeing by Schwebe's there and push that left side fairway, Schultz plays the slight hyzer, and I really like that shot. If you got to keep a disc low, it's better to have it just gently fade left than try to keep it low and perfectly straight. So it's a really nice touch there by Schultz, and Feldberg with a solid uphill putt. He takes the birdie. Schultz looking to line up another one. He's done just that. Park job by Mccrae. A little too close to skip in. As in skip to the basket. As he's done on 2 out of the last 3 birdies. Schwebe's getting hungry. chomping on his towel. Feldberg maintains that two-stroke lead. And this is just a really touchy shot as Feldberg gets a kiss off that tree. McCrae parked it the previous day, but that one doesn't have enough hyzer angle on it. You don't want to go too far past because you can be looking at a long uphill putt from a really long distance because it's such a steep drop off behind the basket. But you don't want to come up too short because then you're of course looking at a death putt straight downhill. So at just 250 feet and barely plays probably 200, you're left with something like this, and this is a death putt for Schultz. And touches left side chain. I think he needed a little redirect there. And this is what I mean. McCrae goes all the way past the basket, which isn't that bad of a putt. However, it's very easy for that disc to go even further. But from almost pin high, Schwebe makes the great birdie. And a few feet in front of that is Feldberg. And after the bogey on 1, Feldberg's trying to string some together, and he's done just that on 8. Schultz for the cleanup, as will Mccrae. So we're almost to the halfway point through this semifinal round. Stares that one in. Just like that, Feldberg now has a 3-stroke advantage over Mccrae and 4 over Schwebe, who also just birdied. Here's Schwebe's cough in the background. Can't stop, won't stop? I don't know. Great drive by Dave Feldberg. And Schwebe knew it right out of his hands. He said that's a little too wide. Doesn't quite fight all the way back. Early wood for Mccrae. He's looking up layup from there. Schultz had parked this on the previous day, and I think he needed a little more height. We saw a very unfortunate cut through by Schwebe on a park job from the previous day as well. Today he's got a lot longer putt. He can't convert, but Schultz does. Trying to determine exactly who was out next. And Dave Feldberg ultimately steps up. He takes the birdie, and he is just on a roll right now. We saw him with a very slow start on the previous round and then finish strong. JohnE McCray is in, and Schwebe's going to walk away with the par. So now Feldberg has 4 on McCrae. He's 5 down through the front 9. And the previous hole along with this one are going to be your 2 final holes of the entire tournament. So interesting to see how they play them here this morning. I think we're going to see these gentlemen, no spoilers, but I think we're going to see some of these gentlemen in the finals in a few hours. So interesting to see how they play it now. And Schwebe's pulled that one hard, and then it hits down and goes to the right. A position he's not really used to ever being in over there. And Mccrae, who was about pin high on the previous round, is almost pin high again. And now Schwebe, after we finally locate his disc, he's like, I don't really know how much power to put on this. I've never been down here before. Oh, and even on a very slow-moving putt. That one gets up and rolls on Schultz. He's trying to give it a long run. Feldberg, who's 5 down on the round, can't convert. He's got to be happy that didn't get out and roll on him. A little more skipping for Mccrae as he trickles in. Calling out the acorn.
Really? He's got one of them damn acorns. Won't be the first time I was on video chasing a squirrel off.
That's nuts. Too easy. And Schwebe with a great recovery, throwing the overhand up toward the basket within 20 feet, and then still able to walk away with the par. Feldberg with the par. So Mccrae's going to take the honors. That's going to bring him back within 3. And he's got 2 strokes on Schultz and Schwebe. And this one appears to be wide right. That's definitely going to challenge the OB parking lot and road, but we saw a safe indicator from one of the gallery members. And I know I said it the previous round. This is 309, probably plays closer to 325, maybe 330, slightly uphill. But this is just a low, straight shot with a little bit of stability, and let it get to the basket.
Ah, that freaking limb. Oh, man, that was right on line, too.
Schwebe, just before throwing that, said, well, I'm here to have fun, so let's throw a thumber. I believe that's his 3rd thumber of the round only. Mccrae, who's up near the parking lot, really trying to control the speed of that putt. And he had the height and the speed, just a little off on the direction. And Schultz is just hanging out, waiting for his opportunity to throw his second shot. We saw Feldberg miss the birdie. Now both Schwebe and Mccrae have tapped in for their pars. And Schultz with the lone birdie here on hole number 11. Dave cracking a smile. We got 3 guys that are at 5 under for the round, trying to make their push to try and catch Feldberg. Stand up and be a man. Ultimately, he goes long OB. And the roller by Mccrae pushes that right side. There is a relatively new sidewalk, at least since I'd been here years ago. And that sidewalk comes into play and is the defining line for OB. And Feldberg has good speed and good angle. And I think he's going to find himself just past the pin.
Still watching it.
Good God. What's going on over there?
Well, it was just rolling, Dave. And that's also going to be high and right.
Way above the basket.
As he says, way above the basket. He gets the green flag. And Feldberg actually rolls all the way down to the next tee. That's where he's throwing his approach. We see Jeff Jacquois from Vegas has now grabbed the cart for Schultz. He's going to do a little caddy duty. Oh, wow. And I was somewhat surprised by how aggressive that run was out of Mccrae. And he didn't draw any metal. He's left himself at least 25, maybe 30 feet to come back.
Bye-bye.
Ouch. And Schultz looks away in disgust. That is heartbreaking to see. especially after going through the chains at one point. It'd be one thing if he just missed everything or hit front basket, but he hit some chain and it still got up on him. And almost 30 feet or so for Mccrae on the comebacker. After the penalty stroke, Schultz is in for the bogey. Schwebe's lining up for a straight up bogey without the penalty. So hole 12 biting these guys. They actually move this one shorter for the final 9. And we'll see how that treats them in a few hours when we're back for the finals. Right here from Waterworks. Feldberg's advantage at 4 strokes as they move over to hole 13, 365 feet. Feldberg asking for it to get over there. And somehow it skedaddles over there. I think that's a professional disc golf term. And Schultz says, I'll match it. Right next to Dave's. And Johnny's catches a limb on the right side and then ultimately all the way back down as I pan back up there for you. He's going to have a long approach. Relatively routine for someone of his caliber. However, this is one where I know they're looking at birdie or thinking about it when they walk up to this hole. Also somewhat calm out there. The should be asking for it to roll. I think he was being sarcastic. But it is calm. As you can see, almost no wind on that flag at the moment. Schultz takes advantage, cards the birdie. Dave for birdie. And again, gotta always be happy. Anytime you draw that much metal and it doesn't get up on you. We saw a really nasty roll away by Schweberger the day before on this very hole. So Dave's in for the par. Wow, 3 pars. Surprising to only see a single birdie by Schultz. DD supports us and the event. Here's Danny Lindahl.
I'm Danny Lindahl from Dynamic Discs here at hole 14 at Waterworks Park in Kansas City, Missouri. This hole is a very long hole, but it's downhill. So for this shot, I like to throw a trespass. A trespass is going to flip up to flat a little bit to the right without too much power, and it's got enough glide to reach the basket easily. So for your long glidey shots, check out a trespass.
All right, again, thank you to Dynamic Disc for your support, not only presenting this PDGA major event, but also then additionally supporting the Disc Golf Guy coverage of it throughout the week. Danny was out there hustling around, giving us extra footage in addition to what I was putting out, and it was a great collaboration. Thank you guys so much. As Danny said, go out and try yourself a trespass while you're at it. Mccrae's turned it over. And he's on that right side. This one is really tough. It's 485, very drivable for our competitors. They just, I think, want to lay off a little bit because the one mistake to make would be to just go OB long. And if you go OB long directly behind the basket, you've got a 10-foot putt. But if you're OB long somewhere else, you're taking the penalty stroke and you don't have a tap in. So you find them all playing to, I'll say, a shorter spot, just like all of these guys have. And then from there, it's just having that nice gentle layup. And some might consider this boring, or it's just smart golf. It's one of those holes, if you don't absolutely pure the drive and commit to the drive fully to put yourself in birdie range, you're probably just laying up and taking the par. So we're going to see 4 pars here on hole 14. So Feldberg with his 4-stroke advantage. Oh, and I like that.
Good shot, Bear. Good shot.
I believe we saw a roller from Barry yesterday. And today he goes with a different approach. Here's Feldberg with a great looking roller. Catches a bump. Oh, and if that would have just completed without that extra bump, I think he would have been parked. And JohnE McCray taking a route I wasn't anticipating, going with the high hyzer route. And puts himself almost right next to the pin. I love it. Schwebe with the backhand. Again, so many options out here on this course. With this particular hole, that is. Here's Feldberg for birdie.
What is going on in this hole, dude?
And Feldberg, understandably frustrated. On the very round before this, we saw Feldberg hit chains and have a nasty roll away. So he's very frustrated here on hole 15, understandably. Just before he had putt, JohnE McCray was trying to let him know, hey, this is the last time you got to putt on this basket. It's not here in the finals. This is the last time. Just get through it. And that was a great recovery by Dave. And speaking of recoveries, that is Schwebe for his par after throwing out from the rough. Mccrae has that for birdie with a high hyzer route. I love it. And Schultz from less than 15 feet for birdie. So very impressive. Lots of solid putts there. 2 of them resulting in birdies. Feldberg still holds on to that 3-stroke advantage. And 16, somewhat like 14. Obviously, this one's fully drivable, but it's all about controlling the speed, because if you get too close to that green, it may jump up on you and find its way OB, and that's exactly what happened to Schultz the day before. And that might be one of the greatest kisses off a tree I've ever seen, as that was an errant shot, kissed off the tree and carried just short of the pin. And very similar shots by all of the guys, except for the trick shot by Mccrae. Schwebe's got a good look at birdie. And I believe that is the 3rd or 4th time we've seen him hit right side chain. Not enough to pull it in. Schwebe just is off his mark. Schultz isn't. He is not going to be losing any ground. Yesterday he made a great uphill putt to save the par. Today him and Feldberg in for birdies. And Mccrae trying to take advantage of that nice little redirect. He's smiling about it. Said it was like a Super Bowl. I think we have Ed Hedrick to thank for some of that. Schwebe with the lone par. And we're going to move over to hole 17, just 2 left to play. Schultz having the hot round in the group. And that looks to be a good shot. I think about 20 to 30 feet additional distance would do you some good out here. And Mccrae is going to maybe be on that hillside. And if you're on that hillside, you're going to have a goofy angle in your run-up. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Brian Kilgore, a supporter and also an impromptu volunteer spotter and helper out there. Almost became part of the course there. Getting out of the way of Feldberg's shot. Thanks for all you do, Brian, down in Florida. Uh-oh. So Schweby has now just let me know that he has, in fact, recently feels like he may have torn his lat. And that's not a joke on Feldberg or Mccrae, the Latitude players, of course. But no, he says that he feels like he tore something possibly a few holes ago, and he is just in a tremendous amount of pain at the moment. And he's just doing everything he can just to complete the round here in the semis. And what a perfect drive by Feldberg. And he's concerned about his approach, but he doesn't need to be in. Look at that. Gentleman and sportsman that JohnE McCray is. Pulling the injured Schweberger's cart up the hill. Schweby's wife, Ashley, was willing to help or assist, and then Johnny stepped in and said, no, I'll do this. I'll pull it up the hill.
Tried to get them as they were in the right behind the basket.
Mccrae seeing some movement off in a distance, and as he said, he was trying to putt quickly before they got in his way.
Woo! Sorry. Mad about my approach.
Don't be mad, Dave. Great putt. And Dave should be carrying that momentum and excitement as he's trying to extend his lead. Schweby's just trying to get off the course. Dave trying to hunt down his second ever world title, of course winning in 2008. Playing against some of the greatest to ever play the game here in the semis. And we're going to see how it shakes out. We've got just one left to play in the semifinals. Feldberg has a 4-stroke advantage as they head into the 18th hole. I believe this would be the 90th hole of competition this week, if I do the quick math. Four rounds, carry the 172. Yeah. And Feldberg says, good, I don't have to run the putt. And I spoke of that the day before. It's just a matter of being in a position where you have to fully commit. Are you trying to run a putt or are you trying to lay up? And Feldberg said, well, from that distance, that's definitely a layup.
Go, baby.
And Mccrae parked it the previous day, but can't stay clean. And a very young spectator under the age of 1 is letting out a little bit of excitement. So Schweby stops, regains his composure, and needs to execute one more drive here just to get this round done.
Oh, thank you.
And the pain he's in, he said he was glad he didn't smash that tree because then he doesn't have to throw his next shot nearly as hard. So Mccrae's looking at a par from there. Feldberg just trying to get up and down if it doesn't move, and it doesn't. No funny business there. And Schweby at this point knows that Mike Mosier is charging from the second card, and he said, I don't care if I make the finals. In fact, I hope I'm out of it because I may only throw the first shot and then have to quit. So he's okay. He knows that Mike Mosier is charging hard at this point, and he's in fact hoping he finishes in 5th because he is in no position to finish out the tournament. So we're going to watch as these guys clear out. I want to again thank Danny, Dynamic Discs, the entire KC Pro Masters staff, Scott Reek and the great staff and crew he's assembled, and of course the PDGA with the huge staff and crew they've assembled. Barry Schultz says it best. Thanks for coming out, and thank you for being a watcher here on the Disc Golf Guy channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you comment during this video, in the next few days, I will go ahead and then give away a disc as my appreciation for you, and please consider becoming a Patreon supporter. We'll see you guys for the final 9 at the Pro Masters Worlds.